I'm really excited for today because we're gonna go in to 2024 nice and easy on ourselves, I think. It's gonna be multimedia because I don't know how to use just one medium, to be honest. I like to pull from different things, but we're doing this view from a window of a fireworks show above a little town, I guess. Um, in the winter, fireworks for New Year's. So we're only 9 days in. And yeah, so we got some fireworks here. We're gonna be using some watercolor for the night sky. Um and so with watercolor you need water and paintbrushes. I have 4 here. Not too big. I'm gonna be using a sponge, but you could use like the edge of a little crumpled up piece of Bounty tissue paper towel, and it should have the same effect. I have a pencil. I like mechanical pencils because the tip is very fine. I have a Sharpie pen that I'm going to be using to line the windowsill, and I also have these acrylic markers that the Yonkers Office for the Aging has provided for us. So we have a few packs of these at the library at Crestwood that you guys can use, that you guys should use. This is like the main star of the show. This is how we get our fireworks shooting out. So yeah, let's just get into it. I have my next sheet right here. I have my pencil. Oh, you don't need this, but I have a clear ruler and a circle template, but these are they're like superfluous kind of. You just need a straight edge and your circles don't need to be perfect. I have this, so I'm gonna use it. But you could use something like I have these Pringle can toppers too that I saved to draw circles with as well. Anything that has around my jars around, you could use something like that. A cup. But anyway, let's get started. I'm going to just eyeball it because this is not that serious, I feel like. Like we're just having fun here. We're not going to measure anything. I use a ruler and I have the tendency to like start measuring things when I pull the ruler out, but I just eyeball. I like to do that too. There we go. We have our frame, which is basically our window frame here. I'm going to draw another line here at the bottom. And then 2 more at the top. I mean on the sides, not at the top. I'll try to get that parallel to the line I already drew. I'm already going off a little bit there, but that's what the eraser's for. It's okay. Then we're just gonna do 2 more like skinny lines parallel to the side here. I like a clear ruler because I get to see what's underneath the ruler. This is our window. Yeah, boom. Next, we're gonna draw circles, but maybe I should draw a circle freehand to show you guys that you don't need a circle template. I'm just gonna put a big circle right there. Oh, you can't even see that. Can you see that? You can see that.
Yes.
Yes, you can. What I do when I draw like rounded edges is I move my whole kind of like at my elbow. Like I keep my wrist stiff because let's do like a smaller circle. I did the wrist rotation and I did a whole arm rotation there for that circle. I'm gonna have this circle cut off here. We're gonna add another circle right there. And that's it. Those are our circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 big ones, 2 small ones. We're done. with those are going to be our fireworks. So we're done with that. I'm putting my things to the side. Now what we need to do is we need to draw the little houses at the bottom here. This is actually my favorite part of the piece. I know they're not the star of the show, but they just make it feel more, they add context to the scene, you know? So I'm going to start off with a line there, and I'm going to draw a taller line there, and I'm going to draw another short line, another short line, and another short line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines right there. So with this, I'm going to connect that with the slant, and then I'm going to go out a little bit and go down. And so that's house number 1. House number 2 here, like that. And then we're going to have another house right there. And we're going to connect these 2 lines here. Up here for this house, I want to have, that's actually so wrong. What I just did was so wrong. Excuse me. Do not draw with such a heavy hand like me. I'm just doing this so that you can see what I'm doing. Please do not draw so darkly. Please draw with a light hand. Please, 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 please. And I made that line go a little bit too. But that's our first cluster of houses right there. It's 3 houses. And these are just like the rooftops or whatever. So here we're gonna have like a little bit of a gap in the middle. We're gonna draw a line like that. Another line that's like kind of shorter. Right, and then we're gonna do another like short line and then a tall line, so that's 4. And then we're going to have this line up here kind of disconnected and then 2 lines there. So how are we going to connect these? Let's see. Diagonal line, straight across, straight across. This house here is gonna be like covering it, but then it's also going to be covered by this house next to it, to the right of it. So I'm going to draw another line there to draw the roof. So you see that? It's pretty cool. Here, I'm going to have a nice low house with a slanted roof like that. And then this is going to be our last building. This is going to be a pretty big house, I think. Relatively big. Look at that. We have our houses here. Let's add some chimneys. Very simple. We're going to add a chimney there. And we have a chimney here. Now the trick is with this chimney, let's zoom in on it. What I'm doing here, I draw a straight line and then parallel, which means they're going the same direction, but they're never touching. Parallel to this diagonal, I draw another short diagonal line, and then parallel to this straight line, I draw another line, and then I go back up. And I do the same thing at the top. And so that is the chimney for that house right there. And yeah, we have the other chimney over here. Do you guys want to add another chimney, do you think? Let's add another chimney. I'll add one here. add one right there. It would just be a rectangle that ends at the slope of the house. All right. We are as far as I can tell, we're kind of done with the pencil part, so we don't need the pencil anymore. Bye-bye. We don't need our pencil eraser anymore. Now what we're going to do is get right into painting. I love painting. It's so relaxing to me. I have my jar of water. I have 2 jars of water. I always have 2 jars of water, one to wet the brush and then one to clean it off. Because I think it can get messy. I have my 16 color palette, very budget watercolor palette here. 16 colors instead of 8. Usually an 8 color palette will just have these colors, which is black, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and brown. The reason why I have the 16 color palette is because this has what we call tertiary colors. It also has white, but it's kind of useless. But basically a tertiary color are the colors in between the main 6. So these are the main 6 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. So here we have blue, violet, we have like cyan, we have blue, green, we have yellow, green, we have yellow, orange, we have red, orange, and we have red, violet. Oh, it's okay, Gerard. You're in now. Hopefully you can get caught up with our stuff. We haven't gotten too far in yet. But yeah, I'm just explaining why I use this. But if you have an 8 color palette, don't worry. You can just mix like to make, we're going to be using blue violet pretty much. And you can just mix blue and purple together on your brush and use that. I just like this because it lets me skip that step basically. So I'm going to take this brush here with just water on it, and I'm going to go across my sky and wet my page as best as I can, as quickly as I can. So you got to work quickly, because if you work too slow, the water is going to dry out, and you don't want that. You really don't want that. Got some debris on my paper there. Doing this under a light is good because it lets you see like the shine of the water to see where you missed, where there's any like dry spots or anything. And of course, I would hope that we're using watercolor paper. Oh my gosh. Do not use regular copy paper for this. It will shrink and crumple up. It will not take the water very well. All right, we got our whole paper saturated with water. Now I'm going into blue violet, but you can just mix blue and violet to get blue violet. I'm going over the whole thing. I'm going over the whole thing. Yes, even the circles. Not the houses, though. I mean, I guess you could, but you don't need to. That's unnecessary. Just pushing the paint around the water that we already applied. And kind of trying to get as much pigment on here as possible, honestly, because this is nighttime, which means the sky is dark. Someone is playing loud music outside my house. I don't know what's going on. The watercolor paint will always go on darker. It'll always dry lighter. So, you know, don't be afraid. We're not going to be using any black because I don't want to. Pretty much. The sky is being lit up, so it's not going to be like pitch black against the fireworks. But also, I just, in terms of my taste, I just want this to be a more colorful piece. So I think black would make it too muted. Okay. There we go. So normally I guess you would take like a heat gun or something and dry this off. But I like to use my patience and wait, especially since we have a lot of time. So basically we have to wait in between layers. But maybe I'm trying to think of what could be done in the meantime. Well, in the meantime, we can paint the edges here. We can't leave them just straight up white because of something called relative color. Even though this windowsill is probably white, as windowsills tend to be, because it's nighttime and because we're looking out the window at bright lights, it will not appear white in the moment. So I'm going to take my skinny fine brush and I'm going to take some regular degular blue. Some regular degular blue. And just go along the edges.
Say, Angie wants to know if they can use a fan. I guess to
Yeah,
the paint.
of course. I mean, just tape down your paper and make sure you don't have like pools of water on. If you have pools of water on your paper, the fan will like blow it around. I don't have any pools of water, so if I were to lift up my paper, like nothing is slipping and sliding. It's just shiny. But if you have like a lot of water on your paper, then if you put a fan on it, it'll like blow the water around. So just be careful. Having met those caveats, you absolutely can use a fan. Usually what I like to do, to be patient about watercolor, is I'll just work on another part of the painting. But this is an instance where like majority of the painting needs to be dried before I can keep moving, so I'm just doing the outer edges here. And I'm just reloading my pigment. I'm going on these edges dry because I think it'll be too much to do wet on wet. Like I think it'll frill up the paper. Ideally, you would have like tape around the edges and then like have drawn the edges around that, but I'm too lazy to cut my tape. That's how thick my tape is, so I just leave it as is. This is really satisfying though, isn't it? I'm just like moving my whole like elbow shoulder out. I'm moving my whole shoulder out when I do this motion, just straight across. And when my paint gets streaky, I just add more water. This is looking dry enough. I'm just gonna do this this right side here, and then we'll move on to the next step with the fireworks, which will be fun. All right. So, because I took the time to do the edges there, it's still damp, but it's not as shiny as it was. I'll lift it up and show you. It's not as shiny. You remember like just a moment ago, I lifted it up and it was like super shiny. Now it's just damp. And lifting. But you can see I'm like pressing on it and it's not moving that much. So it means we can move on. I'm gonna take this brush. It's like a nice flat brush. I got it from Target. I don't know. They just had like a set of paintbrushes. And I'm going to, let's see. I'm going to dip into this red violet here. But you can just dip into red. Not violet though, because violet would be too similar to the background. So let's see. I'm just going in this big circle. And because the paper is still damp, it'll kind of get like fuzzy around the edges a little bit. But what I want to do is take it a little bit further and actually use my sponge. Put some water in it. I guess I'll like go along the edge here. Maybe I'll add some paint to the edge. Yeah, look at that. Because it's just a burst of light and it like diffuses into the night sky. So it's not going to be a perfect circle like I have mistakenly drawn up here. We really don't want that. All right, next color, we're going to do yellow. Actually, we're going to do orange. Do an orange. This other big one is going to be orange. It's tricky because there's a blue in the background, and blue and orange are opposite colors, so they sort of mute each other out. They sort of cancel each other out and make like a gray. But honestly, it's a little better because we didn't use straight up blue. So just very simple, and then I guess we're gonna go in with the sponge as well. Here along the edges. I just dipped the edge of my sponge into my orange. Is sort of dispersing the colors there. And then I want some green. So I think I'll make 1, 2, 3 green. And I'll use my smaller brush.
Say, Angie wants to know if you ever pat it dry.
Oh, if I have too much water on my paper, like it's like pooling, I will take a paper towel and I will like soak up that water, if that's what you're asking. But normally I don't pat it dry. Like if I don't have a pool of water, I'll just let it dry with the air. I try not to use that much water on my brushes, because there's only so much water that the paper can take. And when I feel like when you work with watercolor, you want to work with layers, and so every layer is more water. So you always want to go in with like the bare minimum amount of water, in my opinion, in my experience. like just enough water to get the pigment running smoothly. These won't all be the same like color in the end, but they're having these fireworks have the same base color, if that makes sense. But we're gonna use different colors for the streaks on top. I'm not gonna use a sponge. I'm just going to like dip my paintbrush into a little bit of water and just like tap it like this along the edges to sort of like diffuse it out. This one kind of got diffused out already, like towards the pink firework, but all right. I'm going to use straight up yellow for this one here. I want a nice yellow one. Yellow. You can see how it looks different than the orange. It kind of looks more green. But of course, we have our green right next to it, so it doesn't, so we can tell that it's yellow and not green. And again, I'm doing what I just did with the green fireworks. I put water on my brush and just holding the brush like way out here. So I have a light hand. And it's like a little sun. What color should we make this last one? I don't know. Should we do another yellow one? Let's do another yellow one. Let's keep it simple. This is so exciting though, because we're making our way through the piece. My paper is all crumpled up, if you can tell. I move it to the sides. And this is watercolor paper, so um, you know. All right, what I want to do is work on these houses, girl. I'm using this marker. Generously provided to us by NNORC. I'm so thankful. These have amazing pigment and they have two tips, but we're going to be using the brush tip and we're going to be using the dark blue. And we are just going to fill in like the sides of the houses. While we wait for our fireworks to dry. Don't worry about like losing the lines that you drew, I guess, because you can tell where the lines go based on like the roof. This is another part that's extremely satisfying. You're gonna fill in the chimney here. Really want to use that fine tip in a steady, firm hand. My hand gets shaky too, so I know it can be a little difficult, but Always try to use like your wrist. I'm using my wrist here instead of like my fingers. My wrist has more stability than my fingers do. I like to just like do quick swipes along the line that I already drew. Our fireworks need a little bit more time to dry. So I'm going to go in and add our shadows. I'm going to use our gray for that. I really like these markers because watercolor is a very loose material, loose media, which is nice and fun for things like skies and fireworks. But for something as structured as a house, especially when they're small like this, I think it's better to have a nice paint marker that you can really get in there with. So we're done with our blue. I'm searching for, this is silver, and I'm looking for gray. Again, we're going to use our brush tip here, and we're going to add shadows to like the back side of the houses. And I went over everything in blue first just to like have a level of cohesion with everything, so you can see like a little bit of the blue shine through the gray, or like seep through the gray. I don't know if shine is the right word, but this is like the back of the house. This adds like more dimension to the buildings that we drew. The backs of the house facing our view. So I don't know about you guys, but I feel like our sky is not that dark, which means we need to do another layer at least. But if you're at home and you have extra time, I implore you. Oh my gosh, I forgot to do the I forgot to do that chimney. Whoopsie. Let's do that really fast. It's like that. Easy peasy. Okay. I'm going to and we want to add the side of the chimney here as like a dark side. So wow, right? Like these are our houses. So far anyway. I think now is a good time to get into the I just added a random colored dot. This is a good time to use that paper towel technique that I mentioned. Just soak it up. Look, it's gone. Just like that. Okay. I'm going again with our blue violet here. Just in some, some areas. Just really like sloshing my brush around. What I actually want to do is I want to bring this paint up close to the buildings. So I'm going to switch my brush to the fine one that I have. And just outline the buildings. With as much pigment on my brush as possible. We're almost at the end here. We're making our way along. Very, very close to the end. Once we do this layer, we're going to go back in and add our windows to our houses. Right? And then we're going to do like the finale with our fireworks. No, we have another step to do, actually. But I think I want to save the best for last. The fireworks are the best, so. And they're also pretty easy, so you guys can keep working on them, even if our session has to end. I'm just swiping that up with some water on my brush to like blend that in with the orange that we have here to get rid of these harsh lines left by the paint. I'm going to go back in with my bigger brush now that I'm up here and be a little bit more like haphazard, I guess. Maybe that's the right word, I don't know. Just like keep getting my pigment on my brush. I don't want any lightness happening. Really want this piece to have a dark blue violet sky. My brush was getting dry, so I added some more water. I'm constantly dipping back in to the pigment whenever I feel like I'm running low, because I don't want to run low. Like I want to get I want to get like every bit that's not where the fireworks are, I want to be dark. Because then it'll really show like a nice contrast. I like this square brush because I can make straight lines pretty easily. As you can see, I just rotate how I'm holding it. And I can follow the line that I drew pretty easily, I think. And I'm gonna just like go around, and then I think I have this brush here that's kind of big, but it's like a tapered end. And I'm just gonna go in with some water, maybe a little bit of the pigment, and just like diffuse these edges around the fireworks in like a circular motion while the paint is still wet. I think this is a nice, beautiful dark sky. I actually like it better than the one I did for the sample. So far, anyway. You see here, we're just adding water and like swirling around our fireworks. So we're gonna wait for that to dry. Now let's see. Now what I want to do, I'm zooming in. I want to add some windows to our homes here. So I'm taking this bright yellow and I am just eyeballing it, girl. It's not that serious, really. Let's see. If I want to use, I'll use the brush tip. So I want to have a window here. And you see how nice that applies? Oh, whoa. I'm all the way on the other side. You see how nice that applies to such a dark color. That's why I love these. Because I can just work on top of what I've already worked on, which is why this piece is possible. Look at that. Wow, lovely. We're gonna add one window to this building here. Just on the top there. We're gonna have 3 here. Just some squares. Maybe it would be cute to add like window frames. That might be cute. We could do that. Could add that into the end, I think. I want to make this one like a rectangle. And then we'll have like another rectangle up here. This window I want to have as a triangle. This is what we call a shed roof. I like houses with shed roofs. I don't know. Those are our windows here. You can add a second layer if you feel like your first layer is a little too streaky, which I feel like mine is. Just like fill it in again. Beautiful. All right, and then we have these 3 houses here. We're gonna do 2 windows in this house. And 2 windows in this house. And then I'm gonna have 2 windows in this house, but they're gonna be triangle windows. Or I guess rhombus windows. Well, this one's a triangle. Gonna refill these windows because now that they're dry, they dry a little less opaque than I want them to. But there's no harm in that. So, I'm going to use my Sharpie pen and just add some window frames. Very fast and easy. You see that? Very fast and easy. The other thing we want to do is we want to add some trees. So I'm just drawing some branches. Because it's winter time, they're not going to have any leaves on them, but they will have snow. So I just draw some squiggly lines, literally branching out from each other. If it helps, you can definitely use your, like, if you can use your not handed, your non-dominant hand to get those nice shaky lines. Or if you have a shaky hand, this is your time to shine. Because trees don't grow straight. Tree branches don't grow straight. So you really don't want to give them a straight line. Let's see here. Get into that. What I would say to do is to add snow. I can demonstrate with one tree, then we have to move on. So with snow, you'll just do like a V. Wherever your branches make V's or like hang out, you can add some snow. And you see how much cuter they look now? They look so cute. And the same thing like for the houses. You just take the white pen and it's snow, so you want it to be like bulky. Like that. You kind of want to do that like all over.
What are those markers you're using?
Oh my gosh. The Tan Mitt dual acrylic markers, we have them at Crestwood for you to pick up if you want them for free. And I hope they're using them right now. But these are very lovely. I especially love the white one because as you can see, it's covering the dark paint really, really nicely. here. So I'm gonna put that to the side, and we're going to get into our fireworks. Woo! It's dry enough. I'm swirling my finger around. Let's use some yellow. This is like a yellow orange, but so what you want to do is just have swipes going into the middle like this. It's like, and it's like reacting to gravity, so you know, some nice quick swipes. You don't want to think about it too much. If you put one line somewhere, you can cover it up with another line, and you know, it won't be a big deal. You want some like different thicknesses in there. Let's see if we can. That's our yellow. I have this other yellow here, so maybe we can use that here. Just, it's like so quick. And it's made super easy with these paint markers. They're fantastic. But I guess if you have like any paint marker, it has to be a paint marker though. Let's use this pink for our pink one here. These are kind of dark, but that's okay. We'll add more layers of color. Like you don't just want to use one color. Let's see, this is a really light pink, so because fireworks are colorful. It's like, I guess you could kind of think of it like a kind of like a pom-pom or a dandelion or something. Let's see. I want to add another. I want to add another pink in here. I'm using the brush tip again. Oh yeah, this pink is wonderful. And then I guess we could add some yellow. Like the really light yellow. If I have it. I guess it's one of these. Just like some dots there. Like that. So those are all of our pinks. We're gonna use some greens now. So I have this green. This is like the only true green in the set that we have. But it's pretty nice, isn't it? It looks like it would end up being darker, but it's not. And what we do is we'll add yellow and other things to lighten up. Lighten up our thing here. So we can use like, this is like a turquoise. Look at that. Wow. Just so fun. Amazing, I think. Let's see. This one. We'll add this one over here. Add some more yellow to this one. In the middle here. Or I guess off to the side, not in the middle, but yeah. And I'll add some to this one too. That looks awesome. We need some orange in our orange one. Goodness. We need some orange in our orange. Firework. Pretty much. Let's see. Do I have another orange? I should. I'll use this orange. Oh yeah, this is wonderful. Just big. It's like a big furry fuzzy ball in the sky. It's really fun. I'm gonna add like a little bit of orange to this one. And then to all of them, actually, I want this one needs something. She needs something. Let's add blue. No, I know what she needs. All right, so all of them we're going to add. I mean, you could add some white to some of them. Okay, let's see here. I'll add white to this one and this one. And maybe this one. But just like a few white streaks, you know. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. But our star of the show is silver. I wish this set came with a gold metallic as well. But as you can see here, look at that. You can see the shine already. This is just so fun, I think. Like, I would love a gold for this orange and yellow one here, you know? But I just feel like all of our fireworks need some shine. So, you know, we're gonna add them. And that, besides lining, hold on. Besides lining our window frame here with our Sharpie, which you can do very easily along a straight edge, you know? Besides that, which is like a finishing touch and like getting some of the snow on the leaves and stuff to really make the trees pop here. Like there's this tree here that has some snow. And of course, this house has snow on its roof. Besides those little details, you know, we're done. Basically, yeah. I just implore you to like line the window frame very quickly. Or I guess you could leave it unlined. But yeah. Just like getting those V's. And I'm happy that we're doing this on Tuesdays because that means that we're not closing at 5. We close at 8. So I could go a little bit over.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're done. Yeah, actually. Yeah, I have everything lined and coded.
Say we gotta wrap up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready to wrap up.
Great job.
Thank you. I hope everyone had fun.
Julie said thank you in the chat.
Thank you for coming, Julie. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, this is our, once you let it everything dry and like fully dry, my paper's still damp. Once it's fully dry, you'll have a beautiful piece of fireworks here, which is really, really, really fun and meant to celebrate the new year. So I hope everyone has a really good 2024.